Hey there, this is Steve Navoychek, and I want to talk to you about a missing man out of Arkansas named Chris Palmer. Information contained in this report is current through January 24th, 2026. Before I begin, I want to say something that matters to me. Choosing which missing persons case to feature in these reports is always difficult. There are so many people missing, so many families hurting, and there are never enough hours in the day to cover them all the way they deserve to be covered. But every now and then a case comes along that really grabs me because it involves something I have real experience with. Sometimes that's death investigations, sometimes it's gangs, and in this case it's the wilderness. Chris Palmer is 39 years old. Public reporting identifies him as being from Arkansas. At this time, I've not seen an official source that lists his exact hometown in Arkansas, so I'm just going to stick with what is confirmed. Chris was reportedly an experienced camper, and he was traveling with his German Shepherd Zoey. Now, I want you to listen to this part very closely because it matters. I've spent a lifetime in the woods, Arkansas, Colorado, and other places, and I can tell you this: I've never been deep in the woods without a dog by my side. A dog isn't just company, a dog is awareness, a dog is protection, a dog is steadiness when the world gets quiet and you're miles from anybody. So when a man goes missing, that's serious. But when the man and the dog both disappear and the truck is found abandoned hundreds of miles away in a place that doesn't match the last message he sent his family, that's a different kind of serious because it tells you something changed. Here is what is being reported so far. Chris Palmer left Arkansas on December 8th, 2025 for a solo camping trip. He was traveling with Zoe. His family has said he regularly kept them informed about where he was and what he was doing. According to reporting, Chris spent time camping in the Smoky Mountains region, and he also spent weeks camping in North Carolina. He later told family members he planned to go to George Washington National Forest in Virginia. On January 4th, Chris reportedly texted relatives saying he planned to stay longer. He mentioned spotty cell service, and that makes sense to anybody who has spent time in the outdoors. You can be in a remote area and your phone is nothing but a brick. Then on January 9th, Chris sent what is being described as his last contact. He told family he was heading to Monongahela National Forest in West Virginia. Now here is where things take a turn. Authorities later located Chris Palmer's truck, a red 2017 Ford F-250, on the Outer Banks of North Carolina near Buxton in the Cape Hatteras area. That is more than 300 miles away, and it is in the opposite direction of where he said he was going. Let that sink in. A man says he's heading one direction into the mountains and forests of West Virginia, and his truck shows up later on a beach on the Outer Banks, and Chris Palmer and his dog were not there. Now, I want to highlight one important point because it matters. There was a long lag between the time Chris Palmer's truck was located and the time his family was notified. In missing person cases, especially in the outdoors, those hours and days are not just a detail. They are the difference between a wide search and a focused search, between a lead that's fresh and a lead that's cold. And that lag matters. Here are the newest confirmed details released by the National Park Service. The National Park Service says investigators reviewed Dare County traffic camera footage and determined Chris Palmer's truck was in Dare County as early as the afternoon of January 9th. And here's an important detail. A blue and white kayak could be seen in the bed of the truck. That kayak is now missing, and it has not been located. The National Park Service also reports that cell phone pings placed Chris Palmer's phone near Avon on the evening of January 10th and near Cape Point in Buxton on January the 11th. The National Park Service reports that when rangers located the truck on January 12th, it was stuck on the beach, and visitor reports indicate the truck may have been already stuck there on January 11th. Now, I'm going to tell you something straight. When a vehicle is found and that person is missing that was in the vehicle is no longer just transportation, it is now evidence. It becomes a timeline marker. It becomes a decision point. Did he drive there intentionally? Did he end up there unexpectedly? Did he meet someone? Did something happen that forced him off the route he told his family he was taking? Or did he change plans and never get the chance to explain why? And when you add in the detail of a kayak, and the kayak is missing, that opens up another possibility that cannot be ignored. That he may have gone into the water or near the water, or launched from somewhere close by. And if that's the case, this search is not just a land search anymore, it becomes a water search too. Now let's talk about the location itself. Cape Hatteras and the Outer Banks are beautiful, but they can also be unforgiving. Wind, cold, water, isolation, and terrain that looks simple until it isn't. People see sand and open space and think it's safe. But sand can trap a vehicle. Cold water can take your strength fast. Weather can change, and a person can disappear out there just as easily as they can in deep woods, just in a different way. If Chris Palmer left that truck on foot, he could have been trying to walk out for help. He could have been disoriented. He could have been dealing with an injury. He could have been dealing with exhaustion. He could have been dealing with exposure. And that brings us back to Zoey. A German Shepherd is not a passive animal. A dog like that is a companion, yes, but also protection, awareness, a survival asset. And most men who have spent time outdoors do not just abandon their dog. So if Chris Palmer and Zoey are both missing, that tells me one of two things is true. Either they left that vehicle together, or something happened that removed both of them from the scene. And I want to be clear, at this moment, we do not have public confirmation that this is foul play. We do not have confirmation of a crime. We do not have public confirmation of an accident. We do not have public confirmation of anything beyond the fact that a man and his dog are missing, and the truck was found in a location that does not match the last known statement of where he was going. That's what makes this case so concerning, because the story is incomplete. And when a story is incomplete in a missing person case, the truth is usually sitting inside the missing hours and missing miles. So here are the most important questions that still need answers. When was Chris Palmer last seen by any confirmed witness? What is the last confirmed location of his phone? Not rumors, not guesses, but confirmed. What is the last confirmed location of his truck before it was found stuck on that beach? Was anyone seen with him? Was anyone seen driving the truck? Was anyone seen unloading gear? Was anyone seen with a dog? And was anyone seen with that kayak? Now, for the public watching this, here is what you can do that actually matters. If you were in the Cape Hatteras National Seashore area, especially around Buxton, Avon, or Cape Point between January 9th and January 12th, think back. Did you see a red Ford F-250 stuck in the sand? Did you see a man with a German Shepherd walking the beach? Did you see someone carrying supplies toward the water? Did you see a kayak being moved or launched? Did you see anything that didn't feel right? And if you did, you need to report it. The National Park Service tip line is 888-653-0009, and I'll say it again, 888-653-0009. You can also email tips to nps_isb@nps.gov. And I want to speak to the family for a moment. If you're watching this or listening, I want you to know that you're not alone. People all over are paying attention to this case, and I know what it feels like to live inside unanswered questions. I've been around missing persons and death investigations my entire career, and I can tell you the waiting is its own kind of suffering. But I also know this. Sometimes the public holds the missing piece. Sometimes one person remembers something small. Sometimes a photo in a phone gallery matters. Sometimes a dash cam catches something that the driver didn't even notice. Sometimes a beach walker or a boater sees something and doesn't realize it's important until later. So if you're out there and you saw something, don't assume it doesn't matter. Make the call. Chris Palmer is missing. Zoey is missing. A truck was found stuck on a beach in a place that does not match the last known plan. And there was a significant delay before the family even knew that the truck had been located. That matters. Until those missing miles are explained, this case deserves a lot of attention. This is Steve Navoychek with the 501 Coroner. If we learn any more confirmed facts about this case, we'll bring them to you as quickly as we can. And y'all be kind to each other, okay?